Hi, thanks very much for clicking on the video link. My name is Natalie Armstrong Moton. Welcome to another in the series of idle chat videos for the American Bar Association's Section for Dispute Resolution. Today I'm talking with a colleague in Western India. Everyone, please meet Sameer Shah. How are you, Sameer?
I'm good, Natalie. Thank you so much for connecting.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. So, Sameer, I have drafted about 120 fairly innocuous questions here on the cards. And so we'll give them a shuffle and we will start, you and I, to have an idle chat. Are you ready, my friend?
Oh, yes. Happy for this.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sameer, question number one. If you owned a restaurant, what kind of food would you serve?
Vegetarian.
You would serve what?
I'll serve vegetarian food only.
Oh, vegetarian food only. Absolutely, absolutely fair. From any particular region, a particular kind of taste, a preference, or just anything?
No, it will have food from different regions, because I personally like, I'm a foodie by myself. So whenever I'm traveling out, I love to, taste good food, but vegetarian only. So if I'm owning a restaurant, definitely my restaurant will have cuisine from across the world, but
Across
vegetarian.
the world. I love it. I would eat at that restaurant. That suits me to a T. Sameer, are you a fan of the movies?
Yes.
Yes. Is there a particular movie that you like to quote often? You quote movies in conversation?
There was, you see, since I'm now more focused on dispute resolution, and since I'm also helping the students, basically, the coming generation in soft skill development, So there was one movie, Indian movie, in which the main character teaches in a way, through that character, it teaches how to cross-examine a witness. And that is equally helpful, though it was in a movie, but the way it was, projected in the movie, that exactly is the way it should be done, even in dispute resolution, especially in arbitration, for that matter. So many times I quote that. I don't recollect exact the name, but I definitely quote this movie. And in fact, just to tell you, I had made my student mentees to come along with me and watch that movie in the theater, because I was training them at that point of time for international arbitration moot. So I told them, let's go and see this movie to make you understand how cross-examination of witness happens in international arbitration.
That's excellent. I love that you use that as a learning tool for your students. Well done, you. Well done, you. Let's see. Next question. Sameer, what does your favorite day look like?
It's a tough question to ask, to answer, in fact. Favorite day. You see, I was just, yesterday, there was a WhatsApp message which I received. It says that, you should be not running after success, but you should be more satisfied. That was the quote. But then I answered, I said, in now current situation, I think people are more satisfied only if they are successful. Though the perception has changed. To an extent, of course, everyone likes to be successful, but the degree and the perception of success differs from person to person. For me, of course, being a lawyer and arbiter and mediator, definitely I also like to be successful. I also like to grow from where I am right now. So a typical day definitely would mean a successful day in terms of both professionally But at the same time, I also value family. So it has to be a balance between professional life and family life. So that's what a good day for me would be.
A good balance. Good for you. Good for you. All right, Sameer, if you were hired to show tourists around your neighborhood or your region, what would you be showing them?
You see, now in our state, I don't know whether you are aware or not, but the world's biggest statue has come up, which is known as Statue of Unity. So definitely that would be the one place where I would like the tourists to go to and show them around, because it gives the real picture behind what has happened in India, how India has come up, because the statue is of one leader. His name is Sardar Patel, who was the home minister at that point of time when India got independence. And he managed to bring together all the different states and the princely states together as one country. That's why it's called Statue of Unity. So it gives a strong message even now, because especially now when we are seeing so much of conflicts around different countries, different regions. So I think this is the right time to show this particular place and send this message of unity.
Boy, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. That's a great one. That's a great idea. So the Statue of Unity. Yeah, absolutely. Sameer, if you were not an attorney and involved in the resolution industry, what other career might you be involved in?
Well, to be very honest, my first choice when I was to make a choice of my career was biology. I was very much fascinated. Probably I would have been a doctor.
Okay, all right.
But even now, I read those fictions, or I get more interested in this healthcare news, something to do with development in science. So of course that was my first choice, but I think I was destined to be an attorney at the end of it.
But do you hear healthcare cases, medical malpractice cases, or
Yes,
personal injury cases?
You do.
I do. Yeah.
I do.
So that
that actually interests me more, because I am representing many insurance companies, private insurance companies. So when the matters comes for dispute from the consumer angle, when the claims are being disputed, and in many cases there are issues of investigation, so that actually interests me to go into what kind of disease, why it has happened, what are the symptoms, whether it is applicable, not applicable. So even now I think that that linkage is still there of between the science and of course law.
Well, and those clients that bring those kinds of cases to you are lucky that they have someone who understands the language, understands the issues at hand, who really appreciates and feels passionate about finding the solutions for those situations. So that's really good for your clients and parties. Sameer, my last question to you is the same that I ask everybody on the Idle Chat, and that is, what is the one thing or some of the things that you love most about the work that you do?
You see, right now I'm focused on students, the university students from School of Law across different regions, not only in India, but outside India, also overseas. And I'm trying to change their mindset towards conflict and dispute. Now, it's very unfortunate that even now, when you say that, when somebody asks you who are you and what's your profession, and if you say that you are a lawyer, the first impression in that person's mind would be that he's a person who goes to court and argues the matter. That's it. Yeah. But to me, lawyer has much more responsibility as a profession, as a human person, because a client is coming to you with an expectation of resolving his or her dispute, his or her conflict. He or she is putting whole trust on you, faith on you. And if you are just, going in a traditional way of going to court, arguing win or lose, that's not going to work. That's not a lawyer. That's not a person who a lawyer should be. A lawyer is a person who does a fair, in fact, give a really fair advice to the client. Whether the client likes or not, it's a different thing. But if the client, if the lawyer, as a lawyer, you think that this is not a good case to fight, you must tell the client, you must advise the client that don't do this. These will be the consequences. You would be losing unnecessarily. Why waste? There are other ways of resolving, and that's why I am more focused on ADR, and especially in mediation. Why? Because in mediation you have a win-win situation, and according to me, and I normally quote this many times when I'm doing the workshops or trainings in conference also, especially mediation, that in court of law you will get law. In court, you will just get law. But in mediation, you will get justice. There is a difference between law and justice. And I am not blaming the court system, because I understand and I appreciate, I acknowledge that courts are ultimately bound by law. They are bound by procedures. But in mediation, there are no procedures, there is no law as such. It's such a flexible system. Yeah. And you can arrive at actually apply these rules of natural justice in mediation. And that's exactly is what is required. If you see, especially during the current pandemic, what has come up, the situation which is, let's take a simple example of landlord-tenant dispute. If the matter goes to court, I'm saying from a pandemic situation, the court either would rule in favor of landlord or tenant, depending upon how the case is built. But will that be a fair judgment? Will that be a fair order? The answer is no, because both the tenant and the landlord are equally, justified in their demand. So now how you come out a proper way out? And the proper way out can happen only in mediation, so that both are satisfied, both the parties goes win-win. And that's exactly what I'm focused right now, changing the mindset of the coming generation to view dispute or conflict in a holistic way, and let litigation be the last resort. That's what
that is very admirable work, Sameer. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Everyone, this is my colleague, Sameer Shah, a good human and an excellent example of what we do in the resolution industry. Thank you, sir. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Thank you, Natalie. It was my pleasure, and thank you so much. I hope that this will help people to appreciate more ADR and mediation, especially.
Thank you.
Thank you.